Namaste and welcome back to my channel. My name is An Nguyen, and today I'm going to talk about a deeper view about the mindfulness meditations, clarifications on some of the common misunderstanding of mindfulness meditations. It's so fascinating that one of my common topic for discussion and conversations recently is about mindfulness and meditations. it makes a lot of sense because it's law of attractions, whereby I'm currently offer the meditation workshop, an integrated energy therapy, healing angels of the energy field. So based on the last video, which I talk about the mindfulness practice in our daily life, we have already cleared out the misunderstanding about mindfulness is equivalently by default to meditations. However, there are so many other misconceptions about meditations that prevent people from having a satisfying meditations experience. For example, a lot of people believe that when we do meditations, this means that we have to totally clear our mind, clear our thoughts, stay calm, sit there for long hours, and totally focus and redirecting to the positivity only. So the essence here is that how our current social media material out there, online article, promoting the meditations as a tool to calm our mind, to refocusing on positivity. And if you are a passive consumer, or perhaps you may follow an unskillful master, then you probably have an impressions and believe that meditation is a tool to control our overreacting mind or to keep the negative, unwanted thoughts at bay. So the problem of the mind mastery perception is that for the beginner, majority of them have already given up on meditations after a few trials or within less than 5 minutes. And for the long-term meditation practitioner, when they practicing meditations with a misunderstanding concept, they were probably running around in the same limbo over and over again and try to seek certain level of mind mastery without knowing that meditation is all about observing our inner self. So the idea here is that those material online articles on the internet might not be incorrect, but they don't give you a clarifications on meditation what is. So meditation is an art of training how to raise self-awareness. And when it is an art, it shall not be used as a tool to fix our mind, to master our thoughts, but it's more like to have a self-explorations and self-discovery further. So talking about the human brain, so human brain is a design system of reactions to sensational stimulations. And since when we were small, we, human beings, have been learned about the surrounding living environment, about the people, animal, events, and so many other things through our 5 earthly sensations, including hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching. Meaning that we have been learned about our life through the body. So through reacting to the situations, our brain will start recognizing and trying to make the event or situation making sense to up to our level of consciousness, whereby which one is bad, which one is good, and that life should have a certain structure to follow. And for the fact that the events that happen in our life might not be the one that we desire or want to experience as the body, then our mind will start categorize it as a life-threatening. And so it's turned on our animal survival mode. So the animal survival mode happens when and only when we perceive that we are living in fear. And so the variations of survival behavior can fall into one or more of the 4 categories below. First is to fight, including attacking and defending. Secondly is flight, meaning you are running away, hiding, trying to avoid facing the problem. Third one is freeze, meaning totally do nothing and give up on the solutions. And finally is form, mean forming an unhealthy attachment, codependency, or addictions on other people, on external substance in order to fulfill our needs from within. And here, so many people try to claim that, oh, this for survival behavior is actually known as a unhealthy masculinity behavior. So that means my feminine side should be healthy, should be okay, don't need to worry so much. I mean, in case you have this kind of belief, I have to sorry in advance that this is not correct, because everyone will have the feminine and the masculine sides, and both of them is just like yin and yang, that they have to be balanced with each other. In yin got yang, and in yang got yin. So for the masculine energy is a container, then the feminine energy is the content of that container. And so without healthy masculine, you are insecure, and without healthy feminine, you are not fulfilled. So then you may wonder how to know if you are on the survival mode or not. Then there are millions of arguments out there rooting back to the difference between human being and the animal. So some of them say that, oh, because we have a variety of languages around the world to connect people with others. And some say that, oh, we have a very structured society with the system of law and legals. And some even say that, well, it's because we watch the news. But the most distinguished point differences between human being and animal is that we human are the creator. Without creation, there also no news. So each individual as a human being is a creator when and only when we live consciously, continuously, and constantly creating instead of trying to extending what was there. It's very common for people to mistaken or confuse between the mind and the consciousness. This is because we are so get used to the default assumptions that consciousness is when we are awake and we can live our daily life by logical thinking, judgmental system, knowledge, skills, and experience. However, the consciousness, which is also known as the intelligence, the wisdom, the self-awareness, is not only limited to the five sensational stimulations learning. So I bet that at least once in your life, you have heard of this statement or the question that, will you follow the heart or will you choose the mind? For the heart, actually symbolize love and kindness, and the mind is logical thinking. And a lot of customers who come to me are juggling between choosing the heart or choosing the mind. This is because they don't feel fulfilled and they don't feel secure when they have to choose between the heart and the mind. When you have to choose the heart or the mind because you are fear of the future result, sacrificing one over another, then the choice is not conscious at all. Then we can conclude that the mind is not always the consciousness, meaning that consciousness and mind are different. So consciousness is the intelligence that's always there, always presented and existing within each individual. And it can include the neutral perceptions or the recognitions of fact, the universal knowledge that we are more than just a body, that we are not only the mind, but more than that, that we are one and we are always connected to. And all of these are actually being known through the mindfulness meditations as a heart, mind, body comprehension. So to simplify and to make it more understandable, an example of consciousness is interview a layman, just a normal man who try to rush into the fire and save so many people. And normally our hero will receive the question like, what have made you to become a great hero like this? It's really interesting because the answer of all of these heroes is that I don't know. I just don't think much. I just feel the urge in my heart that I have to go inside there. I have to save as many people as possible. And then right at the moment when the person decided to follow the urge in their heart, aka the soul calling service thing to others, they took immediate actions and all of what a person needs in that situations. For example, the courage, the brave, love and kindness, and all of the skills that even the person have never practiced before, such as how to avoid the smoke, how to get through the fire, how to protect other people to get out of an almost collapsing house, and etc. All of them have been integrated into the person who becomes a hero right at that moment when they are passionately following the soul calling and take immediate action. To summarize, consciousness means that living with the awareness of the integrative self at the eternal present moment. So there are so many other examples of consciousness, and I bet at least at some point in your life, you have already experienced a life with the true consciousness. And it's not necessarily means that you have to live at the borderline situations between life and death in order to experience the consciousness. And it can start with a very tiny step. For example, when you are so passionately follow your dreams of becoming an energy healer, a coach, an entrepreneur, open your own business, or even with a smaller step, such as just do a painting or even just go on an adventure, you are living with the love-based orientations. Then when you act with love, joy, excitement, curiosity, and you trust your own intuitions, then you are making your life as a moving prayer. So with the clarity above, then we can clearly say that the mind is only part of the consciousness when it is not covered in fear, aka the ego. Because love and fears are totally opposite each other, so they cannot coexist as one point. For example, no business can ever be successful if the business owner are always stays in fears that I will fail. Operating the business with the fear-based intentions, then all of the actions and operation is now focusing on finding the future mistake. Because when you are living in fear, all of what you can see is just the danger. And as you try to avoid the mistake, you make a bigger mistake that you let your opportunity pass by. And on the other hand, with the love-based living or intentions, you establish your business out of your passions, or your goal is about how to create, how to add more value to other collective living. And you are so concentrating on your creations that time no longer exists. As giving is one with receiving, you give out your love, excitement, kindness, creativity, and life will manifest back to you more love, more adventure, and broaden your horizons of creations. So then your vision is now becomes a creator vision. For any obstacle may happen on the way, it's just opportunity for testing, teaching, and learning. So from here, we learn that given the same life event, different people will react or respond differently to that event because of how they perceive the event. So perception is actually our personal interpretations and recreations of what happened in life again in our brain. For the brain is referred to an organ on our human body, and it is served as the perception data storage. So according to the Eastern traditional medicines and also the integrated energy therapy, the perception data is not only stored or contained in our brain self, but also is stored in every single cell on our human body. And it could be expressed through the form of sensations, feelings, emotions, physical energy level like stamina, pains, and illness. All of these signals are actually the subconscious response when we are interacting or committing to a thought or a belief system. All of the events, so-called the facts, are just neutral unless we try to give them a meaning so that we can make it understandable toward ourselves. And so then perceptions is not the fact. So the understanding between perceptions and fact is very essential, because when a person is confused between the fact and the perceptions, it's very, very likely that the person is stuck in the recreations of the past. Then living in perception would continuously manifesting the loop of more trauma, more karma, until he or she is aware of that loop and decided to break it. So up to this point, then you may wonder how to know when our mind is the consciousness and how to know when our mind is stuck in the ego. So the idea is very simple. When our mind is stuck in the ego, then it means that we have been struggled by the limited thoughts, which fall into the three main categories below. First one is the belief of lack, aka I am incomplete. So I am lack is the ego blockage that is manifested as the first chakra, which is the root chakra. It is the needs of materialistic condition in order to fulfill the inner insecurity. So when a person believes in lack, he or she will be totally off from the creator visions and return back to the animal survival mode, which is living in fear. And it's so hilarious that the belief in lack is actually very popular and have been promoted everywhere on the internet with the social media, movies, film, music, and so many other entertainment sources. And we have been teaching via all of these social media and entertainment that a person is just a half, and we need to find another half in order to combine and feel more fulfilled, more secure, in order to feel more protected, more completed. So thereby, we actually create a form of codependency on that person or on that living conditions. And from my client base, the broken heart trauma is so common because of the unhealthy attachments or these codependency issues in the relationship. And also codependency issues is also the next ego child that is generated by the fear. My happiness depends on the outcome. So this belief is a blockage that is manifested as the second chakra or the sacral chakra. The second chakra is known to stand for our relationship with self, self-esteem, creativity, and sexual energy. So the codependency is actually the coping mechanism that we will always be in the state of seeking for solutions for what we are missing right now, or what we are believing that we are missing right now. So the codependency can be spotted through the conditional statements, such as, if only a person or a thing happens, then I am pleased, I am happy, I am satisfied. Otherwise, I am angry. Basically, codependency is the state of always in the seek for pleasure, for a drop of dopamine, rather than being more contentment, more sustainable in terms of happiness, more into generating the neurotransmitter of the here and now. For example, like serotonin, oxytocin, or endorphins. So pleasure is very commonly being confused with happiness. However, they are totally different. In fact, happiness is more about the fulfillment when we are more than just a body, while pleasure is the award of successfully seeking or discovering an external substance, body, or tools in order to fuel up the sensational urge. So most of the people confusing between the pleasure and the happiness And that's why they believe that happiness needs to be pursued. So now, as the body is getting used to the external thing, then without it, you are alone on your own, and you are so uncomfortable living without that things. And it's from the addiction. So to simplify, please remember that happiness starts from self, for that self is a source of everything. Meanwhile, the codependency or the addictions is working on the mechanism of living in stress plus having a reward, so that as you attach to the outcome, you will be in the state whereby you decide that I will do whatever it takes in order to reach that outcome. And thereby it leads to the third belief of the ego, which is about the fear of losing control. I need to stay in control every single moment. So this blockage is actually manifested as the third chakra, or the solar plexus chakra, standing for the matter of the inner power or our true power. When belief in controlling, you are actually isolating yourself from the rest of the world, from everyone else, because controlling can only happen when there are two or more parties. Otherwise, we are one and we live instead of trying to control. This belief is actually the dualship belief with the most complicated concept for manifestations, especially when it comes to free will. In fact, the free will only exists when we are in alignment with our soul, when we are living with an infinite consciousness of the universe. Then now, back to the main topic. So upon knowing the differences between the thought or the belief, the brain, the mind, and the consciousness, then we know that meditation is an art of raising awareness. So with that being said, the effect of meditation is to calm our mind, but it does not mean that through the meditations we will control the thought by judging what is good and what is bad, what should not be here and what should keep us at bay. Instead, it's all about raising the awareness of what are there right at the present moment, because every thought is just like the informations. They are neutral unless we try to give them a meaning or an interpretation of what is good or what is bad. So it's just like when you are driving a car on the highway at the middle lane, at the speed of like 65 miles per hour, then you will try to observe and aware of other vehicles that may get into your way, and your job is to sit in the car and drive safely. As you're driving a car on the highway at the middle lane and try to go through the traffic jams, it's totally the same with when you first sit down in the meditations with a head full of thought. Now you are on the highway at the middle lane, so you are probably have no other way to get out of the jam. Then ask yourself the question that what could be worse with the jam? So the answer here is that it's probably if there's some car accidents ahead of you, or maybe someone is stupid enough to jump out of their car, leave the car on the highway to get away from the jam. Or even some people try to linger back to take photos, video, or selfie with a car accident. Then, so what do you think? Will you still think that sitting inside the car and go with the flow of the jam is a threat to your life? Or will you now find it actually a possible way to by just go with the flow? Trying to get out of the traffic jam by banging on other people is just the same with how you try to control your mind, how you try to control the thoughts of what should be there and what should be not. And I bet that you will see the answer of what we are discussing up to this point. Another common question that I receive about mindfulness meditations is that how to transfer from breath work to self-awareness when practicing Zazen or Zen meditations. Normally, this question is raised in concern when we consider breath work is an object or a task that is separated from ourselves. When a person is unconscious about his or her breath, our breathing is actually part of the daily activity, part of our life. Breath is life, for the fact that it is a universal movement and experience that without breathing, we cannot continue to live. So as we breathe in, we receive the energy, the fresh energy in form of fresh air, oxygen into our body. And as we breathe out, we release and give out the energy to the environment again. And so many times I found that we are so entitled to not pay attention to our breath until or unless it is required as a opening task to do in a certain kind of activities or like exercising, breath work or meditations to calm ourselves. So the reason why meditation starts with breath work is because it's so simple that you don't need someone to instruct you how to breathe, but you automatically do it for the fact that breathing is life. And when you are conscious about your breath, then you are also conscious about your self-awareness of what are happening to you right here, right now, as the eternal present moment. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that you find this video is meaningful and helpful to you. So for whoever are with me up to this point, I am very much grateful for your patience, and please remember to throw celebrations for yourself for this very mindfulness and patience achievement. Also, if you love my video content and so many other services, please like, share, subscribe, and follow me on the social media and on this YouTube channel. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Heart link and blessing.